The way we work is changing faster than ever. If your company isn't adapting, you might be left behind. So, what's really happening in 2025? Let's dive in.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Deep Dive. We all know how much information is out there these days, and it can be tough to keep up, right? So, like always, we're doing the digging for you, cutting through all the noise to bring you the key insights you really need.
Yeah, exactly. Today, we're going deep on something pretty fundamental: company culture. Specifically, how it's changing, like right now as we move through 2025.
You know, it's funny, we were just talking about this the other day. Seems like almost every week there's a new headline about quiet quitting or the 4-day work week or AI taking over.
Oh, totally. It's all over the place. And, for this deep dive, we thought, all right, let's get into the research here. So we've been looking at some really interesting reports from groups like Vantage Circle, OC Tanner, and Accenture. They've all been digging into how employee expectations are shifting and how the whole global business landscape is evolving. All of that is impacting how companies are actually building their cultures. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we're pulling out the big trends from all of that. Like, what are the core things that are really going to shape company culture this year? And what does it all mean for us? Whether you're managing a team, working on one, or just trying to figure out where the future of work is going, we've got you covered.
Right. Because it's changing so fast.
Yeah. So let's jump right in.
Okay, let's do it.
The first thing that really jumped out at us from these reports was this: employee well-being. It seems like you can't talk about company culture in 2025 without talking about how companies are taking care of their people.
Yeah, I mean, across all of these sources, it was so clear, right? Like, building a healthy company culture just isn't possible unless companies are putting their employees' well-being front and center.
It's not just a nice perk anymore, is it? It feels like it's the foundation.
Exactly. And we're seeing a big push for what they call psychological safety and better support for mental health. It's about creating this environment where people feel safe to be open, to talk about things without fear of judgment. That helps reduce stress, makes people feel respected, and ultimately leads to a more positive workplace for everyone.
And there's actually data to back this up. It's not just a feel-good thing.
Right. The numbers are pretty amazing, actually.
Yeah, OC Tanner, for example, they found that companies that really focus on well-being could see burnout plummet by like 57%,
Wow.
anxiety down by 24%, and depression by 28%. I mean, think about the human impact of that. Those are big numbers.
That's huge. It makes you wonder why more companies aren't doing this.
Well, and here's the thing. It also makes financial sense. They estimate that companies could save about $8,000 per person per year by focusing on well-being.
So it's not just the right thing to do ethically, it's smart for business too.
Exactly. Yeah. And, they have some really specific recommendations, like implementing actual wellness policies, offering real care benefits, allowing mental health days, and actually making flexible schedules possible.
Yeah, and this whole idea of the dignity of work was really interesting too. These reports all suggest that people are looking for something more than just a paycheck.
Oh, totally.
They want to feel like their work matters, they want to be motivated by what they're doing. That comes down to how companies design the roles they're offering.
Right. And Accenture found this big disconnect here. Like 58% of employees say work-life balance is super important to them.
Okay, so most people.
Yeah. But only 29% think their leaders actually care about it. So there's this gap between what employees want and what they feel they're getting.
That's a huge problem. I mean, you can imagine how demotivating that must be.
Totally. And, Accenture had some interesting insights into what companies can do about it. They talked about redesigning jobs to make them more engaging and creating real ways for employees to give feedback, especially as things like AI and constant change become the norm. It's about making employees feel heard and valued.
So making them feel seen, not just a cog in the machine, right?
Yeah, exactly. And speaking of feeling valued, this whole well-being piece really connects to another big theme we saw: flexibility and balance.
Oh, yeah, this is a big one. It seems like every report we looked at highlighted how much people want flexible work arrangements now.
Right. Vantage Circle's data showed that a whopping 80% of employees prefer having some kind of flexibility in how and when they work.
80%, that's massive.
It's huge. It's not just a nice perk anymore. For a lot of people, it's like a basic expectation.
Right. Like if a company doesn't offer it, they're going to lose talent.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's not just about where and when you work either. There's also this push for companies to rethink their benefits packages.
Yeah, things like healthcare, professional development, those are becoming more important than ever.
Absolutely. And those recommendations about flexibility and benefits, they kind of go hand in hand, don't they?
Totally. offer competitive salaries, provide good health insurance, invest in employees' skills, and make sure people feel recognized for their work. It all ties together.
It's all connected. And you know what else is becoming increasingly crucial?
What's that?
Diversity and inclusion. This was a big focus in all of these reports. They're all saying that creating a more equitable workplace is absolutely essential in 2025.
Yeah, and it makes sense, right? I mean, we all want to work somewhere where we feel respected and valued, regardless of our background.
Totally. And Vantage Circle, while they didn't have hard numbers on the direct financial impact, they were super clear that diversity and inclusion is key for reducing turnover, especially turnover that's driven by people feeling like they're not treated fairly.
Right. And in today's global market, where everyone is competing for the best talent, holding on to your people is more important than ever.
Exactly. And these reports offer some really practical advice for building more inclusive workplaces. Things like actively working to create a respectful environment for everyone, making sure there are real opportunities for everyone to advance, and just constantly looking for ways to make the work experience better for everyone.
So it's not just about checking boxes, it's about real action.
Yeah, totally. And another theme that kept coming up was this idea of employee engagement and experience.
Yeah, like how do we keep people engaged? How do we make work more than just a job?
Right. And these reports talk about this really interesting multi-pronged approach. It's about investing in development programs so people can grow their skills. It's about fostering a sense of community. And it's about really paying attention to the day-to-day experience of employees.
Yeah, Vantage Circle said something like 80% of HR leaders are making employee experience a top priority.
Exactly. And what's a big part of that?
What's that?
Onboarding. And these reports are saying that onboarding is being totally redefined.
Oh, yeah, I read about that. It's not just for new hires anymore, right?
Right. It's for anyone transitioning into a new role, a new team, a new project, anything. And it makes sense when you think about it. Like, people are going to have a lot of different jobs and careers throughout their lives. Some projections say it could be like 9 to 12 different career shifts for one person.
Wow. That's a lot of onboarding.
And the world is changing so fast. Like, they're saying by 2030, we could see something like 14% of the global workforce changing occupations. So yeah, we need to get good at onboarding and re-onboarding people.
Makes sense. And O.C. Tanner's research showed that good onboarding experiences lead to some pretty impressive outcomes. Like people are 10 times more satisfied, 14 times more likely to get promoted, and 8 times more likely to stay with the company.
Wow, those are huge numbers.
Right. And they said that just recognizing someone's work, even on a weekly basis, can make those onboarding efforts even more effective.
So it's about making people feel welcome, appreciated, and supported right from the start, and then continuing to do that throughout their time with the company.
Exactly. And we can't talk about the future of work without talking about technology, right? And specifically artificial intelligence, AI.
Oh yeah, AI is everywhere these days. And these reports are showing that it's starting to play a big role in shaping company culture.
Yeah, it's not just some abstract concept anymore. They're talking about using AI to predict who might be thinking about quitting, personalizing training programs for different employees, and even helping people connect with each other.
It's like using technology to understand people better and create a more human work experience.
Exactly. And there are some really interesting statistics from O.C. Tanner about this. They found that using AI in recognition programs can lead to a 29% reduction in turnover. And get this, 81% of employees actually follow the suggestions made by AI tools. That means people are open to this if it's done right.
Yeah, they trust it. And they found that when people have strong connections at work, they're way more likely to be successful, and AI can help build those connections.
So it's about using AI in a way that supports people and makes them feel more connected, not less.
Absolutely. And these reports have some good advice on how to do that, like really exploring how AI can help build a stronger culture, setting clear guidelines so it's used ethically, and choosing tools that can analyze all that data we have to make better decisions about company culture.
It's about using AI to make work better for humans, not replace humans.
Exactly. And finally, we saw this really consistent theme around personal and professional development. Companies are getting that they need to invest in their people's growth, especially millennials.
Makes sense, right? I mean, everyone wants to learn and grow.
Exactly. And Vantage Circle, they didn't have specific numbers on this, but they were very clear that providing development opportunities, especially for millennials, can lead to higher job satisfaction, more loyalty, and ultimately people staying with the company longer.
It's about investing in your people. It's a win-win.
Totally. So If we kind of step back and look at all of this together, all these trends we've been talking about, there are some really clear takeaways from all these reports.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing how much these sources align on the big picture, even if they have different data points.
Totally. So first, there's this massive focus on employees' well-being. It's about taking care of people mentally and emotionally, not just physically. And it's not just a nice to have. It's essential for a healthy company culture.
Right. And companies are starting to realize that flexibility is key, not just in where and when we work, but also in the kinds of benefits and support we get.
Absolutely. And building diverse and inclusive workplaces is no longer optional. It's crucial for attracting and retaining talent in today's competitive market.
And then there's this whole focus on employee experience. How do we make work more engaging, more meaningful, more rewarding for everyone? Onboarding is a big part of that, but it's also about creating a sense of community and providing opportunities for growth.
Exactly. And technology, especially AI, is playing a bigger and bigger role in shaping company culture. It's like using technology to understand people better, make work more efficient, and build stronger connections.
Yeah, and all of this really reflects a deeper understanding of what employees want and need from work in 2025. Companies are realizing that they need to adapt to these changing expectations if they want to be successful.
Totally. And, that brings us to our final thought for you. We've talked about all these trends: well-being, flexibility, inclusivity, experience, technology. Which one do you think is going to have the biggest impact on the future of work? And what can you do today to prepare for that future? Just something to think about as we all navigate this crazy world of work. Thanks for joining us for another deep dive.
See you next time.
So, what's the biggest workplace trend that you think will shape 2025? Let's talk in the comments. If you found this useful, hit the like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the future of work. See you in the next video.